And welcome back. As we go ahead and continue to look at interfaces, let's go ahead and take some time to practice creating our own interfaces. So to start us off, I went ahead and created a class called CloneMe, and it's implementing the clonable interface. And so I'm using the first approach that we looked at last time. And so what I did here is I have a try catch here with a return super.clone, and then a catch for the clone not supported. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to create a clone of some object. And of course, this is going to be of the CloneMe object. So let's just go to our simple class. And of course, I created a original object called CloneMe original, and equals new CloneMe. And then I have CloneMe copy equals original.clone. Now you'll notice is that we have an error here. And the reason why I have an error is because if you look at what Eclipse is trying to tell us, it says it cannot convert from object to clone. So what do we need to add here? Well, we need to add in a type conversion. So I'm going to do a clone me as the type, and you can see now that that error has gone away. One of the things you'll notice is because I'm doing it in this method, I did not need to implement the clonable interface for this class. And again, there are pros and cons of both sides depending on what you need your program to do, but for our purposes right now, I think this is perfectly fine. Now you notice I don't really have much here in this class. So let me just go ahead and quickly create a quick constructor here. So public clone me. We'll create a private modifier. Let's say private string. Let's just say name, and let's do a private int number, just so we have something in there. And what we want to do is let's just say name is null and number is 0. Just again, so we have something to test with. And let's go ahead and create a quick set method. So public set clone, and we'll just say name. Let's give it some modifiers here first. It's going to be string new name and int new num, and we'll set name equal to new name and number is equal to new num. Okay, and let's see what we're missing. Oh, we're missing our type. This is a void. There we go. And then again, they'll just give us something here. So this is our accessor method, or excuse me, mutator. And so let's go ahead and test that out by first creating in here an original.set clone, and let's set it to happy, and let's make the number 10. And then what we're going to do is, of course, create that clone of it. And let's just go ahead and do a print of this. So let's do a system.out.println of, let's do original. And of course, we're going to have to probably do a cast here because this doesn't have a toString method in it right now. So we need to add in a toString. So public string toString. And let's just return, in this case, name plus number. All right, now that should, of course, take care of that. So let's just go ahead and run. Let's see what we get spat out. And we get happy 10. Perfect. Now, if I want to print out, let's say, the clone of that. So let's go ahead and print out copy here. Again, if we run this, so we should see now the original values. We notice it's saying happy 10 because what did we do? We copied whatever the values that were originally set here. Now, if I go ahead and let's change the original, and let's make that instead of happy 10, let's make it happy 20. That sounds good. Give that a quick run again. Now you'll notice it is printing out copy. Again, copy is retaining that. But if I go ahead and add in the original here, so let's just print the original twice and then that one, you notice we get happy 10, happy 20, happy 10, because it cloned those original values. These are independent copies. These are deep copies. So we are not worrying about it just updating with reference pointing to each other. Excellent. Now, what if I wanted to implement my own interface? Of course, this is the clonable interface, perfectly usable. But if I want to do my own interface, let's say I want to make sure that this class has a certain method to it. So we can go ahead and right click and just do a new interface. And I'm just going to call this one simple interface, just for our testing purposes. All right, so here's simple interface, and all I'm going to have that do is have a method. So I'll just make a public void, let's just say special name. And I forgot my parentheses. There we go. So I have this interface now that says special name, and what is that interface going to do? We don't know, because again, remember, the interface doesn't actually dictate the details. It simply says this method needs to exist. Now let's go to clone me here, and I'm going to implement this simple interface. So I'm going to do comma simple interface. All right. Now you notice that we do have an error that pops up here. So it says the clone me must implement the inherited method. All right, because what is the inherited method? It of course is the special name. So I can actually just click right here, say add unimplemented methods, and it will add it down here. So here's special name, and let's just make this do a very simple thing. Let's just say if name dot equals, let's just have it equal a specific name. Let's just say, let's do Adam. And then we'll just have that pass as parameters here, and we'll just do a system.out.println. You are the first contestant. So again, it doesn't matter what this method does, just for our testing purposes, this is perfectly fine. And notice we also have this @override mentioned here, because what it's doing, it's overriding the definition from this interface. And so now if I were to come in here and let's just call in after this one, let's just say original dot, and of course now we have the option for special name, and I can leave it in there. It's not going to change this output. In fact, I can run it and see nothing happens because we didn't set the name to Adam. All right, but it said that this method had to be here as part of this program. So this is a great way for us to, again, use that interface to make sure that is checked in here. And so we have two different types of interfaces that we're currently demonstrating. We have a custom interface that we created for our own stuff that we could then use across multiple classes. We have the clonable interface, which of course allows us to create those deep copies that we might want to do for our class objects. And hopefully that gives us a good foundation for how to use interfaces within our program. Now, obviously, there's a lot more that we can really sink our teeth into and we can spend more time with, but I think this should be enough to kind of get your feet wet and be able to feel comfortable creating your own interfaces or implementing some of the existing ones.